Hey guys,
Welcome to Wise Week and Warrior.
I'm Luke.
I'm Kaylin.
And we just got back from our ski trip a couple months ago. It was fun. It was relaxing some. We ended up catching
got sick.
bronchitis, but it was a lot of fun. Kaylin got sore from falling a lot.
From snowboarding.
Anywho,
But we're ready to get tropical, if you can't tell.
we're ready. We originally had planned to go on the MSC Meraviglia in February, and I switched this up and went to Colorado on a ski trip. We want to get back into the Caribbean, into the cruising lifestyle and the warmth, and also with everything going on right now, we want to kind of lighten the mood, give everyone something else and better to think about.
Just remember the islands.
Get your mind off the corona and everything. You know, we pray for everyone that's been affected by this. It's a horrible thing going on, but
Yes.
we'll get through this, guys. Just hang in there. So let's get our minds focused on some better things, and we're going to dive in today on the difference between the Oasis class, which we sailed on the Allure for our honeymoon, and which is both Royal Caribbean ships, and the Adventure of the Seas, which is the Voyager class.
Which is the one we went on last February. First, we're going to talk about the positive of the Allure and the Adventure of the Seas, and then we're going to talk about the negatives of both the ships, and ultimately tell you which one we like best.
Yep.
So here it
And
goes.
help you make that decision. So let's go.
Here we go. Here's what we liked about the Allure of the Seas.
Number one, the solarium. The solarium on the Allure was phenomenal. It was so the entire front of the ship, as you can see here, it's all glass windows. There's a big pool in the center of it. There's big hot tubs. And also our favorite thing that we really enjoyed about this was there's actually a breakfast buffet in the morning.
Y'all. It was like quick. Like I don't think we
never waited for a seat.
Yeah, never waited for a seat.
You walk in, you get your food, and it's almost the same exact setup as you would in the normal buffet,
right.
Just smaller. It's just a smaller segment of it.
There's not as much stuff, but you don't wait in line. You immediately get a table. I mean, it's so much easier because everybody's going to the Windjammer, like slam packed in there, trying to eat at the same time. Just go to the solarium. It's amazing. And there's no kids.
Yep. That is the biggest part of the solarium. So that kind of mixed into two with eating the breakfast there, but also the relaxing there all day. And you didn't have to fight for hot tub spots, which was a big plus
nice.
on the Allure. Number two was the hot tubs off the side of the ship. So these were close to the solarium. It was actually right as you exited the door from the solarium. There's two large hot tubs on either side of the ship.
They hang off over the edge of the ship.
And they're infinity type hot tubs. It's really relaxing. It's really nice. And that was probably our second favorite spot of that ship completely. So highly suggest that. During the week, towards the beginning of the week, everybody likes to hit those up. So it is a little tough to get in them.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the week, everybody's kind of getting a little more tired and maybe resting in their rooms more. We found more opportunity to get in there with a lot less people. I mean, we got in there a lot of times during the middle of the sea day, and there were 2 or 3 other people, and they're large. They're really very big, large hot tubs.
Really big hot tubs.
So it was nice.
Number 3 is there are more guests, which means in the shows there's more participation for like the game shows, like Love and Marriage, The Quest. If you get a chance. No, not if you get a chance. If you go on one of these ships,
you have to.
You go on a Royal Caribbean, you must do the Quest game show. Don't ask anybody what it is. If you don't know, don't look it up.
And don't ruin this in the comments for the other people.
Don't ruin it, people.
Just do it.
It's so worth it. Don't look it up. Just do it.
You'll be in for a surprise.
It's so much fun. Just do it and just take the surprise for what it's worth.
Side note, parents, I wouldn't take your younger kids to this. And they will warn you as well when the show begins. This is not a show for younger kids. It is an adult game show. Carry on.
There's just more participation. Not to say, I mean, the shows and everything on the Adventure of the Seas were still amazing. But it's just, there's more people, there's more interaction. It's just kind of more, there's just more going on.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we actually got to be on the Love and Marriage game show for the Adventure of the Seas. We actually won.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. There's only so much interaction you can have.
We were the only couple that like audition to be in the
We
show.
sailed in February, so we were with a bunch of snowbirds and older folks. Nothing against y'all, but we didn't have any newlyweds to participate against, really. So, because they make you audition to get on the stage because there's so many people, typically.
Right.
You have the newlyweds, the middle of the road, and an older couple. So there's only so many people that can participate, but you have a bigger audience, is what we're saying, for the Love and Marriage show on the Allure compared to the Adventure.
Right.
Number 4.
The variety of shows. So the shows on the Adventure of the Seas was great because we still saw a magic show out of Vegas and a singer out of Vegas. They were amazing acts, but on the Allure, they have literal Broadway shows. Like when we were on ours, I think they have Mamma Mia. I think recently they've done Cats. I mean, full-fledged Broadway productions, the whole 9 yards. So it's just not that the Adventure of the Seas is any. It's still high quality show, but it's just the caliber. They have that like kind of top notch Broadway level show on the Oasis class
and
ships.
they're able to do that as well with the Aqua show at the back of the ship. So the Allure has a big pool that's not for passengers; it's for the workers and stuff when they do the shows. And they do high dives. I mean, I think it's probably 70 or 80 feet, the tallest
Super
diving
impressive.
board. They have a tightrope walker. They have everything that goes way above the ship. It's really a phenomenal show to watch.
It really is.
Side note, the Adventure of the Seas, the ice skating show, was phenomenal. That was one of our favorite things about that. They did a miraculous job in such a small space.
It was insane.
To see that level of agility and ability on a moving, rocking ship on ice. I mean,
But the ice rink was, it was
tiny.
not that big.
It's tiny.
I would say maybe like a quarter of the size of like an actual, like if you went to like a hockey rink. Like
Less than that, I'd say it.
I mean, it was not that big.
It's very small, and y'all will see it. It's
It
where
was
they do.
wildly impressive.
It's where they do the Quest game show that turns into an ice skating rink, and it was really, really impressive.
Now that we've talked about the Allure of the Seas and what we liked there, here's what we liked about the Adventure of the Seas.
Number 1 was the viewing area at the bow of the ship. This is the helipad area. They have benches set up. You can go up there to the very tip of the ship. So there are seats up there in the viewing area. You can just relax. You can hang out. You can take in the sunset, take in sailways. It's just a really nice area that they don't have on the Allure. The Allure's blocked off. It's a crew area. And this was just a really big plus that we found.
We went there at Sailaway out of Fort Lauderdale. We went there a couple times at nighttime, like maybe after dinner, just to hang out.
It's just black and it's quiet. It's nice.
It's super quiet, and you can just hear the ocean, and it's just really relaxing. So we really liked that. The second thing that we really liked about the Adventures of the Seas, also has to do with views, was Deck 4. So it was a wrap-around deck. It went all the way around the ship. And there wasn't lifeboats in your way. Like, you just had a clear view of everything. So whenever you just walked out, you could just kind of stop. After going to the piano bar or something like that, you can just walk out on the deck, enjoy the sea breeze. You have a nice, beautiful view. Even if you're in port, it's like a good place. We stood there and watched, as we sailed into San Juan. You could see everything super clear, and it's nice. There's plenty of room for everybody. So that was just I know it seems minor, but it was actually a really nice thing. It was like a good place to go where you just had a nice view.
So this actually connects to the bow. So Deck 4 wraps around. It's a full walk around, which I guess you could consider that going up to Deck 5 and the bow that we just talked about. So it's 3/4 wraps around. There's stairs that go up on either side to the bow of the deck. So that's essentially the full lap, even though it goes up another deck. Number 3, like for the Adventure of the Seas, was the top area. So this would almost be the area where the Allure had the solarium. It's towards the front, but this was a sun deck at the very top.
It's not enclosed.
It's not enclosed. It's not adults only. Though it's a little bit louder because there's, I'd say, some generators, I believe, at the front area up there. So it's got a little bit of a hum, but this is a good area if you've got headphones, you're just wanting to just get some sun. There's plenty of seats. It's blocked.
It's quiet. Nobody's like loud or like doing a lot. Or at least when we were on the boat, there wasn't a lot going on up there. It was easy to find a seat. If you just wanted to get away from everybody, get away from everything, take your headphones, like you could fall asleep up there in a split second and just relax. The fourth and final thing that we really liked was the Blue Moon Lounge. It was up at the top of the back of the ship.
Towards the back.
Towards the back. But you could, it was at the top, and you could sit at the edge and just look out and see the ship and the water and everything. It was just a nice place
There's
up
a bar
high.
there if you want to get drinks.
Or
anything.
even if you're just going there, like, before dinner, if you have some extra time, or even after dinner. Late at night, it turns into, like, a dance club kind of place, but, like, right after dinner, before dinner, if you just want to go somewhere to relax, kind of sit, just enjoy the views, that was a great place to go to. We really enjoyed going up there. So now that we've told you everything we liked about each ship, or our top likes, now we're going to talk about our dislikes. Bleh.
Starting off with the Allure.
The Allure
So
of
we
the
would start with the Allure on the likes. We're going to go through the Allure on the dislikes first. Number one dislike for the Allure of the Seas was actually a pro in some ways, and then in some ways it's actually a con. It's a much bigger ship. So the Allure weighs roughly 225,000 gross tons compared to the Adventure of the Seas is 130,000 gross tons. So it's a lot bigger, which means there's a lot more passengers.
And I think too, with there being, so while it's a pro that there's more passengers because there's a lot more interaction with stuff, but it's also kind of a negative because there's just a lot of people on the ship. I mean, it's a big ship, which granted is bigger, so it's more space for everybody, but it's just a lot of people. So if you kind of want something a little more
Intimate
quaint
feeling.
and intimate, then obviously the Oasis class is probably not for you. I mean, there's just
A lot going on.
a lot of people and a lot happening. I mean, there's literally a boardwalk that looks like you're walking down a beach. I mean, it looks like it is literally a city. There is a park on the boat. There's a merry-go-round, a carousel on the boat.
Now, both classes have the Royal Promenade, which is their shopping area. But the Allure of the Seas and the Oasis class actually has a park place area. So it's like it's almost like you're walking through New York City's park place. It's trees and bushes just in the middle of it, and you look like you're in a jungle for a
Yeah, like
little bit.
you don't even know that you're on a ship, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
if someone just, like, picked you up and dropped you in there, you'd be like, where am I?
Yep.
And so with that con kind of comes the second con. With it being such a bigger ship, it's also harder to navigate.
Just more to walk. I mean, that's really just, it's not hard to navigate. It's pretty simple, really, as far as it's not like a maze, but it's more or less just bigger. It's just
Be prepared to walk,
be prepared to walk. Get your steps in.
which is good because buffet.
Number 3 dislike for the Allure, which was actually a big reason why we like the Adventure of the Seas better in this category. So that area on the Adventure of the Seas that wrapped around the deck, deck 4, this is covered up by lifeboats on practically 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
And you don't get there's no good area on the Allure of the Seas that's close to the sea, minus the very stern of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's loud because you've got the wake, and it's just not a very quaint setting
Yeah.
that you get on the Adventure of the Seas, where you can just go sit next to almost the water and just hear the waves and just relax. So that is one dislike we really don't like about the Allure or the Oasis class, is just you can't really get close to the water and relax.
Right. So now we're going to talk about the dislikes of the Adventure of the Seas.
Number 1 dislike for the Adventure of the Seas is
The solarium compared to the Allure of the Seas. It was smaller, which granted the time we went, it was just a lot of older people, and there was no room for anybody. It wasn't.
we never got to get in the hot tub in the solarium.
And it wasn't the same. It was just kind of like a random small kind of like open area.
A little bit towards the front, but you don't have the front view.
It didn't feel like it was like a special separated place. It was just kind of like in the ship, kind of random, kind of like, oh, now you're in the solarium.
Yep.
Now you're not. And the other thing, there's no breakfast bar. It's literally just like a pool and some hot tubs and a bar. So the Allure did much better with the solarium, making it feel like, okay, here's a place for adults only. You've got a place to have breakfast. You have a place to kind of like get away from everything, where there's actually room for the amount of adults on the ship without kids. Whereas I don't think on the Adventure, it just wasn't big enough. Second thing that we disliked about the Adventures of the Seas was,
though it's a smaller ship, and I understand that, there's less pools and less hot tubs in the Allure, and which we hit on this with the solarium We actually never got in the pool on the Adventure of the Seas because it was smaller, and like we were saying, there was all the adults always in there, and they would all just line up on the edge of the pool. But in the Allure, even though it's a bigger ship and more passengers, we never found any trouble getting in the pool. We never really had trouble getting in the hot tubs in the solarium. It was just a lot better, atmosphere in the solarium on the Allure. And the third and final dislike for the Adventure of the Seas, which this isn't necessarily a dislike for us. This is based on personal opinion. I like the motion of the ocean. I like a little bit of rock, but as I stated earlier, the Adventure of the Seas is almost 100,000 gross tons smaller than the Allure of the Seas. So, generally speaking, it's going to get rocked harder than the Allure in rough weather. I mean, it's just basic.
Yeah.
It's just basic physics. It's not. It's just going to rock harder during rough weather. So if you get seasick, that might be something to, think about.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we've talked about the pros and the cons of both the Adventure of the Seas and the Allure of the Seas, now we're going to tell you which one's our favorite.
If it wasn't brutally...
I don't know that it was that obvious.
I think it was pretty obvious. Comment below if you think it was obvious on what our favorite was. But
are you ready? 1, 2,
I'll let you
3.
say yours. I'll let you say
No, say it at the same time. 1, 2. It can't be that obvious if we're both like, I don't know.
I know mine.
All right, here's our favorite. In 3, 2, 1. Allure of the Seas. Yeah.
And why would you say that?
It was just, I liked that there was more to do. There was more going on. There was more options and everything. There was more places to go to at nighttime, more show options. I mean, I just feel like there was just more to do overall. And the comfort of just laying out and relaxing, there was more places you could get away or kind of be in the middle of everything, but you could always find a seat. I don't feel like you were crap, we didn't get up at 6 a.m., so we didn't get a seat.
And my reason for the Allure being my favorite was just basically solely the solarium. It had that big of impact on me. Being able to sit in the hot tub in the solarium and just see the entire ocean out in front of you was just incredible.
Yeah,
and you could sit there and then you could lay out in the chair and you just see all around you. And while you're on a cruise, you're on the ocean and it's just feeling like you're disconnected from mainland. And that just was the biggest thing for me that I really enjoyed.
On the Allure of the Seas, we actually took advantage of the solarium on a port day because our ship, after Hurricane Nate, I think it was, we had to kind of do a weird loop around, and we ended up going back to Nassau. You know what? We're going to hang out on the ship. So we spent most of the day just in the solarium, and we had perfect views. Here, this is what the views were like, just chilling that day. So, I mean, even on a port day, if you're I don't really want to get off on this port, I mean, that is a phenomenal place to hang out.
We love cruising. We want to get back into it. We
miss cruising.
We hope this Corona stuff passes quick and we, get back out there, support the cruise industry. Because we don't want it to go down. We don't want it to go away because that's what we all truly love, and that's why we're here watching these videos. So follow along with us on our adventures. Like this video. Subscribe to our channel.
Do it!
Follow us along on our adventures, guys. We're going to be trying as soon as this Corona passes. We want to go on another cruise. I've been eyeing the MSC cruises for so long. The seaside, speaking of the solarium being close to the ocean, I want to get close to the water on the back of that shit. The pool on the back of the seaside just keeps on just drawing me in. If you've been on any of
the word seaside.
Seaside. If you've ever been on an MSC, comment below. Comment your experience. Let us know. We're gonna change it up. We've been on Royals the last 2 times. She's been on a couple of Carnivals when she was younger, Carnival cruises. I've been on a Carnival when I was younger, so we want to change it up from our Royal the past 2 times. They were great. We highly suggest Royal. They were a lot of fun, but we just want to show you all some different experiences. So comment below your favorite cruise line, your favorite ship. Let us know why, and we will try and get on it and show you what we think about it and give you our personal opinion about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. See y'all
Bye.
on the high seas.